3.3 notes, properties of functions and the difference quotient. This is the final page, difference quotient practice. And so we saw the difference quotient briefly in 3.2. And we want to make sure you are comfortable with this, so we are going to take some time to go through a couple of these and take a look at the different things that you need to make sure you are watching for. I will always start the same way. I'm going to start by finding f of x plus h. And so that means that x plus h gets squared here. Minus 5x plus h goes in everywhere there is an x. Okay, I'm going to write this out just so we don't shortcut. Our brain likes doing that, making things easier for us. I get x squared plus x times h plus h times x plus h squared minus 5. These two terms are the same. We can multiply in any order. We get x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. That should become really familiar because anytime we have to square x plus h, that is what it's going to look like. And so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to go ahead and write in what my difference quotient looks like, just so I can follow below and plug and chug. So my f of x plus h, that's right here. I am going to wrap that in parentheses, and I will explain why in just a minute. My f of x, defined up here. I'm also going to wrap that in parentheses. Now, you've been conditioned when you see parentheses like this to distribute that negative and get rid of the parentheses. You really can do that, but I have found that that is an extra step that gives us the opportunity to make mistakes. So to avoid that, here's what I'm going to do. I have the first set of parentheses minus the second set of parentheses. Anything that's exactly the same in both sets is going to cancel out. So I have x squared here minus x squared. I have a minus 5 minus minus 5. First thing you should notice, f of x should always cancel out completely. If it does not, that means you've probably made a mathematical mistake somewhere or just have the wrong sign plugged in. Okay, let's take a look at what we have left. I have got 2xh plus h squared all over h. I can factor an h out of both terms in the numerator so that it cancels with the denominator, and that is the second thing that should always happen. The h in the denominator should cancel. Slide this over since I stuck my note in there and did not plan well. And we get 2x plus h. And that's it. So B, I am going to start the exact same way. I'm going to start with f of x plus h. So I get 2 times x plus h squared minus x plus h plus 3. We already know what that x plus h squared looks like from above. It's going to look the same every single time. And then I'm going to go ahead and distribute 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared minus x minus h plus 3. There's my f of x plus h. Again, over here, I have got f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. And I am going to plug in, let's see, can I be smarter? Oh. Minus my f of x. Let's see if I can shrink this down just a little bit. Maybe I didn't mean to shrink down my h. Okay. Minus, again in parentheses, 2x squared minus x plus 3 all over h. Now we're going to cancel what they both have in common. I got a 2x squared minus 2x squared. I have got minus x plus 3. And let's take a look at what we have left. We have 4xh plus 2h squared. Notice that everything in the numerator does have that factor of h. I'm going to factor that out. I get 4x plus 2h all over h. I'm going to cancel the h in the numerator and denominator, and we are left with 4x plus 2h. C looks a little different. This is where students tend to get a little hung up. And it's just the algebra. We start the same way. F of x plus h is 1 over x plus h. That's it. And so here's my difference quotient, f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. I get 1 over x plus h minus 1 over x all over h. And here comes the piece that we're not so used to. We don't do that a whole lot. I want to eliminate the denominators in my numerator. So I am going to multiply by x plus h. So I got to multiply down here by x plus h. I'm also going to multiply up here by x and down here by x. And then I'm going to go ahead and write everything out so that you can see it before I start canceling. X plus h. You notice I'm not multiplying anything out. Because the point of this was to be able to cancel. And I want to be able to do that. Okay, so down to the canceling. I've got x plus h over x plus h. I have x over x. And I am left with x minus x plus h all over h times x plus h. I got x minus x in the numerator. These are going to cancel. I end up with a negative h over h times x plus h. Again, my h's are going to cancel. When this cancels up here, it leaves me with a 1. I get negative 1 over. At this point, if you really want to multiply in the denominator, you can. You don't have to. I get negative 1 over x times x plus h. So a little bit of algebra there to clear out those fractions in the numerator. But you should be able to follow that pattern for anything that looks like this, anything that's got any kind of reciprocal function involved.